Right. So today we're doing a deep dive on, well, you could call it a modern classic,
I'd say so, yeah.
12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson.
That's the one.
And and I got to say, the listener, you gave us quite the interesting mix of stuff to work with here. You've got the book itself, obviously,
Yeah.
but you also gave us some commentary, some critiques,
Right.
some praise.
A good mix.
Yeah, really good mix. So
Yeah.
I think, what we want to do today is, well, let's unpack these rules a little.
Yeah.
See what makes them tick, why they resonate, why they maybe don't resonate with
Wow.
people, and just kind of see what we can learn from it.
Absolutely. And I think, for anyone just tuning in who maybe hasn't read it yet, 12 Rules for Life is at its core a self-help book, right?
Yeah.
But it's not your, typical fluffy self-help book.
Right.
Peterson really digs deep, kind of weaving in psychology,
Oh, yeah.
philosophy, and even mythology, which is interesting.
It's like surprisingly readable for something so deep.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, he's got a way with words.
Yeah. So, okay, 12 rules. We've got 12 rules to get through.
All right, lay 'em on me.
Some of them seem pretty straightforward, like pet a cat when you encounter one on the street. I mean, who doesn't love petting cats?
Right. Good advice.
But then there are others that seem simple on the surface, but
Yeah.
but they have these deeper layers.
Oh, yeah.
And one that really stood out to me, and I think you highlighted this in your notes too, was stand up straight with your shoulders back.
Yes, that's a good one.
So what are your initial thoughts on this one?
Well, what's fascinating about that rule is how Peterson connects it to, believe it or not, lobsters.
Lobster.
Lobsters. He explains that lobsters, just like humans, have these hierarchical social structures. There's a pecking order, right?
Right. Right.
And their posture, how they stand, actually plays a huge role in that hierarchy. Yeah, so when a lobster wins a fight, its serotonin levels increase,
Mm.
which is a feel-good chemical in the brain.
Okay.
And this makes it stand taller,
Oh, I see.
appear more confident, and that in turn affects its chances of winning future battles.
So like fake it till you make it, but for lobsters.
Haha, kind of.
Right.
But Peterson suggests that a similar mechanism might actually be at work in humans.
Okay, so he's saying that just by like consciously changing our posture,
Yeah.
standing up straighter, shoulders back,
Mm-hmm.
we can actually influence our brain chemistry
Yeah, potential.
and as a result become more confident and change how other people see us.
That's the idea.
That's wild.
It is. It's really interesting, and it ties into his bigger point about personal responsibility.
Yeah.
Taking control of your own life, even these small, seemingly insignificant ways, can have these ripple effects on your well-being.
It's like a mind-body connection, but on a deeper level.
Yeah, exactly.
I see you also, in the notes that you gave us, you highlighted another rule, which was compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today.
Oh, that's a crucial one, especially in this day and age with social media and all the comparison that goes on.
Yeah, it's so easy to get caught up in that, like
Yeah.
constantly comparing ourselves
Yeah, absolutely.
to these like curated images of other people's lives, right?
Yeah, it's a recipe for unhappiness.
Yeah. So what Peterson is saying here is that it's more important to focus on our own progress, our own growth,
Yeah.
rather than getting sidetracked by what other people are doing.
Exactly. It's about focusing on your own lane, your own journey, and celebrating your own wins.
That makes a lot of sense. But I have a question about this whole emphasis on personal responsibility.
Okay, yeah. What's that?
Doesn't that risk like overlooking the systemic issues that people face?
That's a fair point, and it's something that Peterson has been criticized for sure. Yeah.
But I think it's important to understand that he's not saying that systemic problems don't exist.
Okay.
He's saying that while we're working to address those bigger issues, we also need to cultivate our own inner strength and resilience.
I see. So it's about empowering yourself
Exactly.
to navigate those challenges and maybe even affect change from a stronger position.
Exactly. It's about taking responsibility for the things you can control
Right.
while still acknowledging the things you can't.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, there's another rule here that I think is particularly relevant to the notes that you've given us.
Okay.
Pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient.
Ah, yes. That one's all about finding your purpose.
Right. And you mentioned in your notes that you're feeling, like you're looking for more purpose in your work.
Yeah, a bit lost, to be honest.
Yeah. So what would Peterson say to someone in your position? Well, he might suggest, taking some time to really reflect on what truly matters to you. What are your values? What kind of impact do you want to make on the world?
Yeah.
And then figuring out how to bring those values into your work, even in small ways.
Right. So it's not necessarily about like quitting your job
No, not at
and
all.
becoming, a monk in the
Hmm.
Himalayas.
Not unless that's your calling, of course.
Right, right. It's about finding that intersection between what you're passionate about and what you're good at.
Yeah, and what the world needs.
Right. Finding that sweet spot.
Exactly.
And this actually connects to another rule that we see in the book. Set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world.
Ah, yes, the classic clean your room rule.
Right. So how does this fit in with the idea of pursuing meaning?
Well, Peterson's argument is that, before we go out trying to change the world, we need to take responsibility for our own lives, our own little corner of the world. Start by getting your own house in order, so to speak.
Master your own domain.
Exactly. It's a reminder that self-improvement is an ongoing process and it starts at home.
So it's not about achieving some kind of like perfect state of being and then
Well,
going out and fixing everything else.
not at all. It's about continuous growth, continuous self-reflection,
Yeah.
and using that to make a positive impact.
And I see that connecting back to that theme of self-awareness that we were talking about earlier.
Absolutely. Yeah, Peterson really emphasizes the importance of knowing yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, the things that you maybe try to hide from yourself.
Right, those shadow selves.
Yeah. And he believes that doing that inner work is absolutely crucial for navigating all the chaos and suffering that life inevitably throws our way.
So it's about building that strong internal foundation so you can weather the storms. Okay, we've talked about a good number of these rules, but there's one that we haven't touched on yet, and it's a pretty big one.
Okay.
Tell the truth, or at least don't lie.
Oh, yeah, that's a foundational one.
And it seems pretty straightforward on the surface, but I'm guessing there's more to it than just, don't tell fibs.
Oh, absolutely. Peterson argues that lying, even small, seemingly harmless lies, they chip away at our integrity. They
Yeah.
create this internal dissonance.
Yeah.
And he believes that being truthful, even when it's difficult, is essential for building strong relationships and a solid sense of self.
It's about aligning our actions with our words, with
Yeah,
our values.
exact.
So looking at these rules as a whole, I mean, we've gone through, quite a few of them now.
Hmm.
What do you think is the most important takeaway for our listener?
I think Peterson's rules, they offer this framework for taking ownership of our lives, for creating a more meaningful existence. And they encourage self-reflection, personal responsibility, and a commitment to continuous growth.
So it's not about like achieving some kind of perfection.
No, it's about the journey, the process.
Right, right. And what about that final provocative question for our listener to ponder as they go about their day?
Well, Peterson often says that meaning is found in shouldering responsibility.
Okay.
So, the question I would pose to our listener is, what responsibility are you ready to take on in your own life?
What responsibility are you ready to take on?
To create the change you desire.
That's a great question to leave everyone with. And we've only scratched the surface here, but hopefully this deep dive is giving you some valuable insights and sparked your curiosity to learn more.
Yeah, definitely. There's always more to explore.
Always more to explore. So thanks for joining us for this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.